The job numbers just dropped and they're worse than anyone expected. Unemployment is for months. Economists warned the labor market was balancing on a fragile foundation. Now, it looks like that foundation is starting to crack. Unemployment just ticked up. Job creation numbers from earlier months quietly revised downward. And most concerning job gains are now resting on a single sector, healthcare. State and local government hiring has slowed. Leisure and hospitality are no longer booming. That leaves one leg holding up the entire economy. And as one expert said, a one-legged stool doesn't stand for long. But instead of sounding the alarm, the administration has a very different message. The White House hasn't issued a formal statement yet, but behind the scenes, officials are scrambling. And their explanation for the weak jobs data? Seasonal quirks? One top advisor claimed the numbers were distorted by miscounting teachers. Another pointed fingers at changes in border policy. But here's the problem. Seasonality doesn't usually shift this dramatically from year to year. And blaming statistical adjustments feels like a stretch when real people are struggling to find work. The spin might work for headlines, but the numbers tell a deeper story, especially when you look at who's disappearing from the workforce. Since April, 1.4 million foreign-born workers have exited the labor force. That's the biggest drop since the height of the pandemic. So yes, unemployment is technically 4.2%, but that number is being held down because fewer people are even looking for work. Meanwhile, part-time work is up and full-time opportunities are drying up. More people are underemployed or sidelined entirely, and that's not just a data glitch, that's a warning sign. And just when workers are getting squeezed, consumers are too in ways they're about to feel in their wallets. The administration's tariff strategy is in full swing, and it's about to hit everyday Americans hard. Appliances, furniture, tools, toys, and even groceries all getting more expensive. The average U.S. tariff rate is now hovering around 18%, the highest in nearly a century. Just a few months ago, it was 9%. And this isn't speculation, prices are already rising. The cost of durable goods just saw the biggest jump since late 2022. Businesses are scrambling. Some are pausing shipments. Others are stockpiling inventory to beat the deadlines. The rules are unclear, the timeline's fuzzy, and the pressure intense. And here's the irony, these tariffs were meant to revive American manufacturing, so how's that going? The promise was simple: bring factory jobs back home. But the reality? A lot messier. Steel tariffs alone cost more jobs than they created. In fact, for every 1,000 steel jobs added in the last round, 75,000 were lost elsewhere due to higher input costs. And today, over 400,000 manufacturing jobs remain unfilled. Why? Because modern factories are automated and the available workforce doesn't have the skills needed. You can't just flip a switch and restart a 1,950-second style economy. And yet, that's exactly what current policy seems to be trying to do. So now, the Federal Reserve is stuck between two bad choices. For Jerome Powell, the timing couldn't be worse. Inflation is creeping up again, but job growth is slowing. That's the classic recipe for stagflation, the economic nightmare of rising prices and falling demand. Wages went up in July, but only because of minimum wage hikes in retail, not true market growth. And that spike, experts say it'll vanish in August. So what's the Fed supposed to do? Cut rates and risk fueling more inflation, or hold steady and risk choking off already sluggish job growth? Either way, the economy is heading into choppy waters and no one's quite sure what comes next. The economy isn't collapsing, not yet, but the cracks are showing and the excuses are getting weaker. Blaming seasonal quirks, spinning the numbers, and leaning on tariffs may buy time, but time is running out. With workers leaving the labor force, inflation creeping back in, and businesses frozen by uncertainty, the next few months could be the breaking point. And if that happens, the question won't be who to blame. It'll be why no one saw it coming. So where does all this leave us? A job market that looks stable on the surface, but is quietly unraveling. Tariffs that were supposed to protect American jobs now inflating your grocery bill. And the government still pointing fingers while ignoring the deeper issues. We're not in a full-blown crisis yet, but if these warning signs keep piling up, the cracks won't just show, they'll break wide open. What do you think is really going on? Are we heading towards something worse, or is this just another false alarm? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this video helpful or eye-opening, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's a lot more happening behind the headlines, and we'll be here to break it down.